Hi there Saturn class. Today we're going to go back to our work on angles. We're going to use our Inspire books for the drawing angles that they have in there, the questions in the Inspire books. So just to recap, when we draw an angle, we are using a line, a baseline, and we mark a point at the end. For this one I want to draw angles, an angle of 56 degrees. I know that's less than 90, so it's going to look acute. So I'll keep that in my mind. I place my protractor on the end of my baseline and I read, because my baseline is on the outer, the 0 is on the outer scale, I read the outer scale for this one. There's 55, there's 56. Mark a point, turn my book round and join the points together. Measure it to check. And mark it in. Remember the degree sign. Okay, one more. This time I've got one that is, let's just move my visualizer over a bit. Sorry everybody. This one I've got for 125. I know that's more than 90 degrees, so I'm going to be looking at one that is an obtuse angle. For this one, I'm not going to do a line on the end, or the one end or that end. I'm actually going to do my line in the middle, just to see what would happen if I do my line in the middle. So I'm going to do my line in the middle and I'm going to measure from this centre point. Now here, can you see, Saturn class, that I have a choice? Because I've put my line, my centre line, in the middle, I can either use the outer scale or the inner scale. So I think I'm going to use the inner scale and go this way around. So I'm going to go to 125. Well, there's 100. Halfway between is 125. Mark a point. Now this time I've got to remember that I've got to go from my centre line out to my point that I've marked. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't have to be a line on the end, and sometimes you'll find that you may have to answer questions where the line, the centre line, is in the middle. So which one then of these two is going to be my 125 degree angle? Well, I already know that 125 will be obtuse, so I will just check. I will use the inner scale here because I know it's going to be obtuse, and 125 is this angle on this side. Okay, for today most of your questions will be the baseline will have a mark at the end, or you can mark a point at the end, but you may find in the future that we look at questions that have measuring from the centre, so it's really important that you think carefully as to which scale you need to use to measure your angle. Okay, in your Inspire books today, you're going to have questions where you are using a protractor to draw some angles, and also obviously then you will need to make sure that you are measuring your angles accurately as well. I've got an example question here. It's one that makes us have to think a little bit. So it's exactly a similar question that you have got in your Inspire book. So watch carefully because you'll come across these questions. Join the marked end point of each line to one of the dots to make an angle with the given value. Okay, so for this one we're looking to find 40 degrees. And we can see the end point is here. So if we were to imagine joining this dot, would we have 40 degrees? If we were to imagine joining that dot with my end point, would that be 40 degrees? Let's look at the other one. The point is over on this side now. If we imagine joining that up, is that going to look more like 40 degrees, or is that one? So 40 degrees, remember, is acute. So it's going to look pointy, might even go the other way around. Okay, so we could automatically just think, oh, I'll just join the lines, join the dots to the lines, but we do need to measure just to be on the safe side. So again, we put our protractor on the end line, on the end point of the line, and we can see this dot here is 40 degrees, and if we go round, this dot here is nowhere near. It says 60 on the inside, we don't want the inside, it would be 120 because my 0 is on the outer scale. So the line I need to join up to is this dot here. And then I can mark my angle in, as I've already checked it. Okay, so one more time then, if I wanted to do this one that's 145, my end point is here. Is it likely that it's going to be this one? Or is it more likely to be this one over on this side? Well, let's look again. 145, well, I know that's more than 90, so it's going to be obtuse. So I'm going to measure it to check. So my baseline is on the inner scale, and I go round 140, 145. So I can join my lines to my dot. And I know that's 145, I've just measured it. Okay, the question will ask you to mark the angle in, so it's important that you do so. Okay, other questions you will come across are where you have to think carefully about where you're drawing your angle. So for this one here, we're going to have a go at drawing an angle 60 degrees above the line. The line will be drawn for you, so you mark your end point. And then we need to make sure which scale we're on. So altogether now we know that the 0 is now on the outer scale. I want 60 degrees. And I can draw my line and I can mark that in. Okay, now together with 60 degrees above the line, they also want you to do 60 degrees below the line. So would you think that it's best to, so I'm going to draw my end point here. Now, would you think it's best to do your protractor upside down? Nope, because you're not going to get as accurate. You turn the book around, and for this one, we're now on the outer scale for our 60 degrees. We could have done it on the other side. It would still be right as long as you are measuring it accurately. There's 60 degrees. And I can then turn it round and mark my 60 degrees on there. Oops, sorry. There we go. Okay, so look out for questions where you have to look above the line and measure below the line. Turn your book around. It's important to turn your book around. Okay, so what you need to do now is go into your Inspire book. You're going to do pages 113. You're going to keep going all the way. You're going to do 116 and you're going to stop after 116. You will enjoy drawing angles. You've been doing really well at it so far. Keep up the great work, everybody. Can't wait to see your finished work.